الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Respected friends and elders, as we have been continuing on with the names of Allah Ta'ala, we'll continue on. Today inshallah we'll be discussing the name of Allah Ta'ala Al-Malik, and we'll focus on that today inshallah. Just a second. So regarding the name of Allah Ta'ala Al-Malik, we find Allah Ta'ala references this name multiple times in the Quran. Allah Ta'ala mentions قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ and other places of the Quran. Allah Ta'ala, of course, in Surah Al-Fatiha, as typically what we recite is Malik in Surah Al-Fatiha, but in other narrations and in other variations, we find also Al-Malik to be found. Maliki Yawmiddin, right? So these are different variations of the same name of Allah Ta'ala. Now, aside from this, we find in the different Quranic verses, we find Allah Ta'ala says in Allah Ta'ala mentions in Allah Ta'ala, He mentioned in Surah Al-Ghafir, this is the 24th juz. In the 24th juz, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Ghafir, ayah number 16, Allah Ta'ala said, يَوْمَهُمْ بَارِزُونَ, that on that day when everyone will be made to stand before Allah Ta'ala, will appear before Allah Ta'ala, لَا يَخْفَى عَلَى اللَّهِ مِنْهُمْ شَيْءٍ, nothing will be hidden from Allah Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala will say, لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, that for who is the dominion and the kingdom today. One second, let me just Allah Ta'ala will say that this will be that declaration from Allah Ta'ala, that لِمَنِ الْمُلْكُ الْيَوْمِ, for who is the dominion and the kingdom today. So that will be the first declaration from Allah Ta'ala. The scholars, they explain, Tafsir al-Qurtubi, we find in this, under the tafsir of this ayah, he mentions that Allah Ta'ala will roll up. He says Allah will roll up the earth in His left hand and the skies in His right hand. And then Allah Ta'ala will declare, أَنَا الْمَلِكِ أَيْنَ الْجَبَّارُونَ أَيْنَ الْمُتَكَبِّرُونَ, that I am Al-Malik, I am the king, I am the sovereign, and where are those tyrants, where are those people who would be arrogant and declare themselves as those who had some type of ownership. Now the fact is, the reality is that you and I, we must always remember that although we live in this world, we think we have ownership, right? We think that we have some type of ownership. But the reality is that everything that we have, it's only temporary ownership. Whatever we own. So whether it's the money that we own, right? The dollar in our pockets, for example, this dollar once belonged to someone else, today belongs to us, tomorrow it will belong to someone else. Same thing with the car. It used to be in someone else's ownership, now it's in our ownership. A day will come where it will go to someone else or it will be destroyed. Same thing with the house, right? We think that our house is the greatest investment and we think that we need this house and so on and so forth. We spend 30 years paying off this house, for example, and so on, right? But the reality is the house that we live in, it belonged to someone else, or that land belonged to someone else, for example. Now it belongs to me, for example, or at least we think it belongs to us, right? In reality, who does it belong to, right? It belongs to the state and the government and everyone else, right? That's why if you don't pay your taxes, what happens, right? It's no longer yours, right? It's taken away from you. So even though we think it belongs to us, in reality, that also does not belong to us. We don't even have temporary ownership to that house. That's the fact, right? And then obviously a time will come where we will not live in that property and someone else will live in that house. So everything that we own, this is only temporary ownership. Whereas Allah Ta'ala is the true Malik, Allah Ta'ala is the true King, Allah Ta'ala is the true sovereign, Allah Ta'ala truly owns every single thing. Right? And when we say sovereign and kingdom, we also think, right, that we think that we have a lot of authority. Right? So for example, I'm the manager of some company, for example, or I own some business, for example. I think I'm an owner, I think I'm a millionaire, for example, or a billionaire, whatever it may be. But the fact is that what? I'm no one, right? The fact is that I don't own anything, and definitely Allah Ta'ala has supreme authority and control over everything and everyone. When we truly realize this, then all of these problems that we're facing, they will be insignificant. We'll realize that, yes, if I'm facing some issues, the true king, the true sovereign, he can remove all of these problems. When I face a problem, I don't need to go to the governor, or I don't need to go to the president, I don't need to go to anyone else. I have authority, I have access to an authority which is much higher than all of these beings. Right? Now again, imagine this scenario, right? How many people, right? If we have, let's say we have the governor on direct call, right? We have their personal number, for example. We feel so powerful that I have the governor on direct call. Or imagine we had the president on direct call. We feel like we have a lot of authority. Why? If someone bothers me, automatically I will call the president. I will call someone of authority, and they will take care of the issue. And subhanAllah, the fact is, all of us, we have direct communication with Allah Ta'ala, who is Al-Malik. He is the true king. Right? And so therefore, we don't need anyone else. We only need Allah Ta'ala. And this is the reminder to myself, this is a reminder to all of us, that we only need Allah Ta'ala. We don't need anyone else. Once we have that realization, then everything else will go away. Allah Ta'ala, or then a hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this is a beautiful hadith, inshallah, we'll kind of wrap up on this hadith. The beautiful hadith Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says that, إِنِّي لَأَعْلَمُ آخِرَ أَهْلِ النَّارِ خُرُوجًا مِنْهَا. He says that I know the last person to exit from the fire of Jahannam. وَآخِرَ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ دُخُولًا, and this will be the last person to enter into Jannah as well. So then Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam explains, who is this person? The last person to exit Jahannam and to enter into Jannah. رَجُلٌ يَخْرُجُ مِنَ النَّارِ كَبْوَةً. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says that this is a person who will crawl out of Jahannam. He will crawl out of Jahannam. فَيَقُولُ اللَّهُ, Allah Ta'ala will say to him, اذهب فَادْخُلِ الْجَنَّةِ, go and enter Jannah. This is a hadith of Bukhari. Now by the way, there are different narrations that mention different types of people that are coming out of Jahannam. Again, it could be different, maybe the last few people it could be, or the last couple of individuals, but there's no contradiction, right? But this is one of the last people to exit from Jahannam and then enter into Jannah. So this, Allah Ta'ala will tell this person, go and enter into Jannah. Right? So فَيَأْتِيهَا, so this person will come to Jannah, فَيُخَيَّلُ إِلَيْهِ أَنَّهَا مَلْأَى. So it will be made to seem to him that Jannah is full. Allah will make it such that he'll come and he'll see Jannah as if it's full. So فَيَرْجِعُ فَيَقُولُ يَا رَبْ وَجَدْتُهَا مَلْأَى. So he'll come back to Allah Ta'ala and say, Ya Allah, I found Jannah to be full. Right? And so Allah Ta'ala says, اذهب فَادْخُلِ Jannah. Go, get out of here, go enter into Jannah. This for the second time. فَأْتِيَا فَيُخَيَّلُ إِلَيْهِ أَنَّا مَلْأَى. Second time he'll go back and he'll find it seems that Jannah is full. You know, when you go to, like, for example, Ijtima, right? You go to Ijtima and like all the beds are lined up, right? And it seems like there's no space whatsoever. But then you move up. Or I'll give you another example. You go to Masjid Nabawi, right? You go to Masjid Nabawi. Most of us have been, alhamdulillah, right? You go to Masjid Nabawi and you think it's filled, right? And one of the advice that I always give everyone, that don't look at the people sitting outside, right? Because when you look at, for example, outside of Masjid Nabawi, you see people, you know, they're standing all the way outside next to the exits. You're thinking, subhanallah, the masjid should be very full. That there's no space. Now everyone is praying outside. You go inside the Masjid Nabawi and the entrance and the exits of the masjid also very full. So you're thinking it must be full. The closer you go, you find it gets emptier. You go to the front, all the way to the front, and it's empty. Right? Besides the central area. The central area, meaning just behind the mimbar and so on, that area is full. Right? But you go to the left and the right, it's empty. There's thousands of people worth of space, but what happens? People are praying outside. Allah knows best why. Allah knows why people pray in the Sahan, where they have the Masjid al-Nabawi, and they don't have the 2-3 extra minutes to walk inside the Masjid al-Nabawi. Allah knows best. That's tawfiq from Allah. Right? So anyways, coming back to this point, right, that people, they will come. So Allah will make it seem like Jannah is full. So second time, third time. So he goes back to Allah Ta'ala. He says, Ya Allah, I found it to be full. He says, go, idhab fadkhuli Jannah. Right? And then Allah Ta'ala, third time, he says, فَإِنَّ لَكَ مِثْلَ الدُّنْيَا وَعَشْرَةَ أَمْثَالِهَا. Right? So Allah Ta'ala said, listen, go enter into Jannah. Get out of here, go enter into Jannah. and I will give you the entire dunya and 10 times the dunya. Right? Not only one dunya, not only one, whatever, however many millions, I don't know, how many thousands of, I don't know how many miles in. Someone, you can chat GPT it, right? One of you guys can chat GPT how many miles of, or how many acres of space there is, throughout the world. And imagine, Allah Ta'ala will give this last person to enter Jannah. He'll have 10 times the entire dunya. Right? And so then, this beautiful hadith, right? So then this person will say, تَسْخَرُ بِي وَأَنْتَ الْمَلِكِ. Right? He'll say that, oh Allah, he's talking to Allah, right? Imagine, this is the last person. And he says, Ya Allah, you're mocking me, whereas you're Al-Malik. You're mocking me, whereas you're Al-Malik. You are the king and you're mocking me. Meaning, I'm the last person. Why would you give me so much dunya, so much in comparison to the dunya? You're giving me so much. And so Rasulullah, when he's saying this, he says, and the Sahabi says, لَقَدْ رَأَيْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ ضَحِكَ حَتَّى بَدَتْ نَوَاجِذُهُ. Right? And he says that Nabi Sallallahu was smiling so much, and he's laughing, like he doesn't laugh so much. Nabi Sallallahu doesn't laugh like that, right? But he was smiling so much that his molars would be exposed. Very few times with Nabi Sallallahu, in the hadith it comes that he laughed so much that his molars would be exposed. Right? And Sahaba, they would, of course, be looking out for these moments. Right? You can imagine that this person, he's like so shocked, right? So shocked that Allah Ta'ala is so kind to me. Allah is so kind to me despite how bad I've been. Imagine how bad you are, that out of billions of people, you are the last person to exit from Jahannam. Now again, yes, at least he's exiting Jahannam, and at least he's going into Jannah, right? You and I, the question is, will we be entering Jannah or will we not enter Jannah? Right? Now, some people, they say, okay, at least that person is entering Jannah. Now, that's not the standard. Remember, the standard is not the last person. The standard should be the first person. Abu Bakr, he is the standard. Right? Those are the standards. We try to follow their standards. If we cannot get to that standard, at least somewhere in between we will get. Right? So therefore, work towards, this Al-Malik. Allah Ta'ala is Al-Malik. Remember, this is the true king. The true king. And we need, you and I, we need to build this mindset that when I need something, I turn to Al-Malik. I don't turn to medicine. I don't turn to the doctor. I don't turn to the lawyer. I don't turn to anyone besides Al-Malik. Al-Malik is the one that I turn to. Al-Malik is the one that I must build my tawakkul on. I build my reliance on Al-Malik. Right? This is the being. And there's a beautiful dua. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he says that at the beginning of every single day, you should recite this dua. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم فتحه ونصره ونوره وبركته وهداه وأعوذ بك من شر ما فيه وشر ما بعده. Right? We have woken up. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله رب العالمين. That we all woke up, everyone. And the entire dominion, the entire kingdom woke up, everything lillahi rabbil alameen, for the sake of Allah Ta'ala, who is Rabbil Alameen. And then you make the dua. Allahumma, this is a part of the dua. Allahumma inni as'aluka khayra hadha al-yawm. Allah, I ask you the best of this day. Fathahu wa nasrahu wa nurahu wa barakatuhu wa the victory of this day. Fathahu wa nasrahu, the help of this day. Nurahu, the nur of this day. Wa barakatuhu, the blessing of the day. Wa huda, the guidance of this day. Wa a'udhu bika min sharri ma fihi wa sharri ma ba'da. And I seek the protection in you from the evil of this day and whatever is after. But again, understanding and bringing in this realization. The hadith comes that you should recite this in every morning and in the evening, the same thing. Amsayna wa amsal mulku lillahi rabbil alameen. Same thing. In the evening, I come into the evening and the entire kingdom comes into the evening in this manner as well. Repeating the same words. And oh Allah, I ask you for the goodness of this evening and so on and so forth. And I seek protection from the evil of this evening and whatever is after it. This is how we build the mindset. Every morning, every evening, we remind ourselves that this is all belonging to Allah Ta'ala. Everything belongs to Al-Malik. This house belongs to Al-Malik. I belong to Al-Malik. My children belong to Al-Malik. Everything belongs to Al-Malik. And this is a reminder for all of us. Then we will understand that this dunya is temporary. A day will come when I will leave this dunya and Al-Malik will take over everything. Allah Ta'ala is the true king. So I turn to him for all of my problems and I turn to him to solve all of my issues and to remind myself that nothing in this world, no one owns anything for life, or no one owns anything permanently. Only Allah Ta'ala owns everything permanently. Allah Ta'ala give me first, Allah Ta'ala grant us all the reality and tawfiq to bring this realization in our hearts. Jazakumullah khairah wa akhiru da'wan alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.